Now on the CTV News at 5, warm, windy weather is stoking wildfire concerns. Plus, 36 people are arrested through LPS's downtown enforcement project. And the Toronto Blue Jays have a chance to clinch their third World Series title in franchise history tonight.
Telling your stories. CTV News Lethbridge with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being with us. The windy conditions earlier this week and warm temperatures has brought the fire danger in Lethbridge's River Valley to extreme. The fire department has imposed a fire ban and is asking residents to be extra cautious. Carson Marsouk reports.
It's the usual fall sights in Lethbridge: bare trees and brown coulees.
The high winds of the last week have just dried out the river valley so much. Our numbers are through the roof. Our numbers for our fuel load and for the initial spread index are both at extreme.
The warm, dry start to fall has elevated the fire risk. Because of that, Lethbridge Fire and Emergency Services have imposed a fire ban on all open fires in the River Valley.
The risk it's very high, and when we get the spread index as high as it is, that one little spark can continue to go extremely fast.
Although despite no precipitation in the long-range forecast for the city, officials say there is a chance the rating can drop.
I am hoping that as we have hopefully a regular fall, we don't get snow too early, but just with the overnight frost and maybe humidity go up a bit, that it will lower the numbers.
And that moisture is needed.
The amount of precipitation we get now before the ground freezes certainly will play a role in next year's season.
Friday marks the end of the wildfire season in Alberta, with crews putting out more than 1,200 fires across the province. Roughly 680,000 hectares of land were burned, below the recent yearly average.
Although it's typically not fire or wildfire season at this time of year, that doesn't mean there isn't stuff that could burn.
Lethbridge has had its fair share of grass fires this spring and summer, although none have caused any significant damage or injuries.
It is one of those things that happens. And in my opinion, if we have one large fire down there, that's one too many for the year. So we just want to make sure we continue to just keep everybody aware of the risk that's down there.
Carson Marsouk, CTV News, Lethbridge.
A hunter in the Foothills is now in Foothills Hospital after being mauled by a grizzly bear yesterday. Fish and Wildlife say they got a report of the attack south of Cochrane at 1 p.m. The victim, a man in his 30s, was airlifted by Stars. Officials say the bear involved in the attack was shot by the survivor's hunting partner, and the bear is believed to be dead. A second bear fled the scene. Wildlife officers will collect DNA samples from the survivor to confirm the bear that was shot was the attacking bear. They will also investigate what led to the encounter. Now, safety experts say attacks on hunters happen all too often. Just a few days ago, a BC hunter, 63-year-old Joe Pendry, died from a blood clot while recovering from a grizzly bear attack. Pendry was hunting for elk in the Fort Steele area near Cranbrook when he came across a sow and her 2 cubs. He shot at and then punched, as well as bit the bear in his fight for survival. The sow was found dead a few days later. Blood Tribe police are asking the community for help finding a missing teen. 13-year-old Chantine Small Eyes was last seen around 9 o'clock last night in Standoff. She's believed to be in the Moses Lake area, but is also known to visit Cardston, Lethbridge, Calgary, and Edmonton. She is 5'7" and weighs about 140 pounds. Chantine has brown hair and brown eyes. Anyone with information is asked to contact Blood Tribe Police or Crime Stoppers. Now, Lethbridge police have arrested 36 people while investigating drug use in the city's downtown. The sting involved uniformed and covert officers targeting offenders engaged in criminal behavior, including for openly using drugs. Police also executed 74 warrants, seized quantities of meth and fentanyl, recovered a stolen vehicle, and laid 11 criminal charges. The project is part of a series of enforcement operations that have taken place throughout the year. 4 people are facing charges after Lethbridge police were able to identify a pattern connecting recent violent incidents in the city. 2 accused were allegedly involved in a food fraud and 2 separate stabbings where random victims were assaulted while they were walking. Another man was beaten with a baton and had his backpack stolen. All of the victims suffered non-life-threatening injuries. 18-year-old Aiden Kovacic from Lethbridge, 18-year-old Raiden Manyfingers from Calgary, and 2 minors from Lethbridge face numerous charges. Family, friends, and community members are gathering tomorrow night to light up the night and remember 6-year-old Darius McDougall. Darius disappeared September 21st, camping with family in the Crow's Nest Pass. An extensive 11-day search by hundreds of trained personnel and more by volunteers has yet to find any trace of the Lethbridge boy. There will also be discussions about changes how missing children's cases are handled. The ceremony gets underway tomorrow, 7 o'clock, Lethbridge City Hall. Well, Glinda Martin, the good weather witch, has the forecast for us tonight. And Glinda, you are ready for Halloween, I see.
Yes, and I am trying to block this wicked weather that is just coincidentally coming from the west. I wonder who is bringing that. But when I look at the forecast for later tonight, while we do see a little bit of rain starting to creep in over the foothills there towards Lethbridge, I'm going to wave my magic wand and make sure that it stays at bay, and it's going to result in quite a nice little Halloween forecast for us. Mainly cloudy right now. We're at about 14 degrees, so warm out there because of those southwesterly winds. Later tonight, we will see those winds pick up anywhere from 30 to 50 kilometers an hour. You could say the winds are defying gravity, Jackie, but by tomorrow they calm down a little bit. Mix of sun and cloud with a lovely high of 17.
Thank you, Glinda. Now, trick-or-treaters will be out in full force tonight once the sun goes down for Halloween. While it's set to be another fun night, officials are reminding everyone to stay safe. Quinn Keenan has more.
In just a couple hours, potentially thousands of kids across Lethbridge will hit the streets for trick-or-treating. With all those extra people out after dark, motorists will have to use a bit more caution.
For drivers, also just to obviously be aware that there's kids all over the place and they may make that choice to go run out in front of traffic, and we just don't want to have any incidents with that.
Plenty of people are still out looking for last-minute costumes. Spirit Halloween set up this year at Park Place Mall is slammed with the last-minute rush. Having fun with a costume is important, but safety should also be in the back of your mind.
Just make sure that you are well lit. Your costumes are, if you have dark costumes, have some reflecting bands, glow sticks, flashlights, whatnot. Make sure you're going around with your family and or in large groups.
There's plenty happening for the older crowd tonight as well. Hudson's Pub is hosting their annual Halloween party. Halloween has turned into one of the pub's busiest nights of the year.
We are fully decked out. We have a costume contest. We're giving out $2,500 in gift cards to people that come in for best dress and best dressed groups. And we have, multiple beer tubs set up.
This Halloween in particular is expected to be especially busy. The World Series returns tonight for Game 6 with the Blue Jays having a chance to win it all. With the baseball crowd as well tonight, Hudson's expects to see 700 people.
Halloween traditionally, top 2 or 3 nights of the year anyway. You throw a little Jays World Series, maybe win the series in the mix, and it's going to make for a go night for sure.
Quinn Keenan, CTV News, Lethbridge.
And don't forget, tomorrow is the night to set your clocks back an hour. Daylight saving time ends at 2 a.m. on Sunday. As clocks are falling back, Lethbridge Fire and Emergency Services says that it is a good time to check your home smoke detectors and furnace filters. If your smoke detector is more than 10 years old, it will need to be replaced. The fire department says now is a great time for the biannual checkup.
The amount of time we had to escape a home 10 years ago has been cut more than in half now, just with the materials used to make products and furniture. So every second does count, and making sure you have working smoke detectors is one of the easiest and safest things you can do in your home.
On the positive side, as we turn our clocks back, we gain an extra hour of sleep on Sunday morning. The Alberta government is making changes to make it easier for farmers and ranchers to get the water they need. Environment Minister Rebecca Schultz introduced a bill yesterday to amend Alberta's Water Act. It will be easier for those with water licenses to use and share their water when it's needed, such as during a drought. The bill will also enable communities and others to use alternative sources of water, such as rainwater from rooftops and reuse wastewater. The province says while access to water is key, there will still be measures to promote water conservation. Now, Friends of Medicare will be holding a town hall in Lethbridge on Sunday as part of a Greater Alberta tour. Medicine Hat emergency physician Paul Parks will be leading the town hall about urgent conversations on public health care. The event will allow residents the opportunity to share their experiences and concerns with the provincial healthcare system and discuss solutions. The town hall will also include family physician Gillian DeModernity from Lethbridge. The free event is on Sunday at Southminster United Church. Another town hall is planned for Tuesday evening in Medicine Hat. This year's Poppy campaign is officially underway. The Legion says wearing a poppy is a visual pledge to honor Canada's veterans and remember those who sacrificed for our freedoms today. Poppies will be available until Remembrance Day on November the 11th. All money donated goes towards supporting Canada's veterans and their families. This is the Legion's most significant annual fundraising effort. Well, Glinda is back with a 5-day forecast right after this break, and we also learn about the science of fear when we return.
Welcome back. Your Skycam is facing southwest. Pretty calm condition day out there, but we certainly felt that wind. That'll continue to happen tonight for our little goblins and ghouls who will be out trick-or-treating. So if they have any masks or props, they might want to make them nice and secure with that wind tonight. Gusting from the southwest at 30 to 50 kilometers an hour. However, those nice warm winds did help get us into a nice high of 14, which is what we're sitting at right now, surpassing our forecast high of 12 for today. And then when we look ahead tomorrow, again, that southerly wind direction will help get us up to 17 degrees. You're welcome, my fine citizens of Oz, for the lovely weather that I'm bringing you over the weekend here. And keeping at bay what's going on to the west of us, you can see that green. I wonder who brought that rainfall warning to areas along the coast there. Some slight windfall warnings as well. Excuse me, wind warnings, not windfall warnings. We have no houses will be picked up in tornadoes. At least that's what I'm trying to prevent right now. But if you are joining us in the Crow's Nest Pass, it might get even more windy tonight with winds picking up from 60 to 90 kilometers an hour. Condition-wise, you'll see a lot of mixed precipitation along the mountains there in BC. But again, I'm doing my best with my magical powers to keep all that precipitation along the mountain line. And that's what we see here for the next several days is nice, calm, sunny conditions thanks to a ridge of high pressure. It's just going to be the winds that we'll really have to contend with. You see by Sunday, we get what's called a zonal flow. So that'll really enhance the winds, but also create nice, stable conditions. So we are hoping for lots of sunshine as we get into the first weekend of November there, but lots of cold air to the north of us that we'll have to keep an eye on as we get closer into the work week next week. But there's that ridge again that is bringing stabler conditions compared to that cold air mass that I'm sure Alphaba has something to do with. And then we get that zonal flow once again as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday. So what you'll just need to be mindful of are those breezy conditions. And as we heard in the news, that could create very dry grass and land surfaces. So you'll have to be fire smart even in November. 4 degrees overnight in the East Kootenay, up to 8 degrees tomorrow, mainly cloudy with 30% chance of showers. For the Crow's Nest Pass, like I mentioned, it could get very windy tonight and into tomorrow, up to 90 kilometers an hour, thanks to that zonal westerly flow. And then for Medicine Hat, it'll be a little breezy as well, 30 to 50 kilometers an hour, but it'll keep you nice and warm at 8 degrees for your low tonight. And then you'll pick up to a very nice high of 18 degrees tomorrow with those winds just shifting a little bit to the southwest. And then for us here, for your 5-day forecast in Lethbridge, ooh, who brought that spider in? I'm sure the Wicked Witch of the West had something to do with that. Keep in mind that as we get closer to Saturday evening, you'll have to turn back your clock. So we'll have a bit of a longer Sunday with a high of 11 degrees. As we get into Monday, down to single digits, but still the best I could do was some clouds on Monday, a little bit of sun on Tuesday, and then as we get into Wednesday next week, a high of 9 degrees.
We spend most of the year avoiding it, but on the spookiest night of the year, we chase fear, and that begs the question, why do we like a good scare? A lot of homes have been transformed into haunted horrors for Halloween. For those seeking out a Halloween scream, Alex Byerman has studied fear and says it comes down to control or our illusion of it. A safe shock is fun because while the screams are real, the threat is not.
Research really shows is that fear is about the everyday experience. Feeling like you can't afford to put food on the table, feeling like you're alone and vulnerable. That's really what scares people. That's maybe why people are most attracted to scary movies and scary books and other scary materials, because they aren't the real threats that people really face in everyday life that truly are scary.
Fireman says there are many reasons people may enjoy scaring others, from the thrill of performing, the sense of power, and, well, simply because it's fun. So what about the impact of all that sugar kids will be getting tonight? Health experts are warning people about eating excessive amounts of sugar Halloween, but also say sugar should not be demonized. One dietitian says if you have a healthy diet for the rest of the year, you should be allowed to indulge this one day. She recommends parents share their concerns around sugar with kids instead of condemning it.
I don't want this holiday to breed fear of sugar in our, when we are feeding our kids. I think it's a great opportunity to talk to kids about eating healthily 80% of the time and 20% of the time eating some of those foods that we really enjoy.
She suggests promoting other parts of Halloween besides the candy, like the social and creative aspects. Well, the Toronto Blue Jays have their first chance today to clinch the World Series, their first championship in 32 years, and for the whole country, game time cannot come fast enough. Sports is up next. Welcome back. The Lethbridge Hurricanes are in the middle of a 4-game homestand. They desperately are in need of some wins to turn around what has been a tough season so far. Tomorrow, the Tri-City Americans will make a rare trip to Lethbridge. It's been a slow start for the Americans as well. They sit 10th in the Western Conference. It's a great chance for the Canes to grab a much-needed win. Currently, Lethbridge is stuck in a 4-game losing streak. Now, that game goes at 6 o'clock. Medicine Hat Tigers, they're back in Alberta after an extended BC road trip. They'll start out the weekend on the road tomorrow, taking on the Edmonton Oil Kings at 2. And then on Sunday, they'll finally play at home again, hosting the Tri-City Americans at 4. The Brooks Bandits seemed to find their groove before having their 5-game winning streak snapped last weekend. Now they will look to start another winning streak on the road this weekend. It's an unusual weekend with Brooks playing twice against the West Kelowna Warriors. They'll play each other both tonight and tomorrow. A big opportunity for the Bandits to gain ground in the conference as they sit 3 points back of second-place Warriors. Both of those games will start at 7 o'clock. Now the Cranbrook Bucks, meanwhile, are still mired in a now 7-game losing skid. It won't get any easier for them. They play the first in the interior Trail Smoke Eaters on the road tomorrow night. This will mark the first meeting between the two this season. That game, it starts at 7 o'clock. With soccer now in the rear-view mirror, the U of L and Lethbridge Polytechnic are shifting focus to other sports. The Pronghorns basketball teams are at home again this weekend. Both the men's and women's teams will look for their first wins of the season against the Brandon Bobcats. The women's game tonight is at 6, followed by the men at 8. Tomorrow, we'll see the same matchups, but with earlier starts. The women will play at 5, the men at 7. Lethbridge Polytechnic Kodiak's volleyball teams will be at home this weekend. Tonight, it's the King's University Eagles in town, and the women play at 6, the men play at 8. Tomorrow night, Grand Prairie's Northwestern Polytechnic start times will be the same, with the women at 6 and the men at 8. Basketball teams, meanwhile, will be on the road. They'll play the King's University tonight with the women at 6, The men play at 8. To cap off the weekend, the basketball teams will also be playing Northwestern Polytechnic tomorrow at 6 and then again at 8. Well, hopefully the Toronto Blue Jays have all the tricks up their sleeves tonight. They are just one win away from a World Series title. George Springer is officially back in the lineup, a huge relief for Jays fans. The Blue Jays will face a tough pitcher. Yamamoto will take the mound for the Dodgers. Gausman will start for the Jays. First pitch is at 6 o'clock. And now to a trip down memory lane. Back to the World Series of 1993 and that walk-off home run by Joe Carter. If you remember that game, you'll also maybe recall a superfan who ran onto the field to celebrate. Well, CTV's John Benavalli-Rao caught up with that superfan all these years later.
A pitch on the way, a swing and a belt.
It was a moment of pure magic. Joe Carter touching them all to win the '93 World Series. But while millions across the country began to party, Mark Astrom wasn't content to just watch the team celebrate on the field.
Just the instinct of I'm here, I'm this close, and we're going to win it, and this is first time ever, so why not?
Astrom was at that historic game, having bought tickets from a scalper for a now unbelievable price.
We were able to get a ticket for only 130 Canadian in the 5th level.
So Joe has touched home plate.
Before Carter stepped up to the plate, Astrom had moved to a lower section.
2-1 on Carter.
And when that homer was smacked, he decided to rush onto the field.
I sprinted down the stairs, had to duck an usher.
You can see him jumping with the team and photobombing a CBS camera crew saying, "Hi, Mom."
There's a photograph of me with one hand up in the air and celebrating, and pure joy on my face for the Jays having won and being there to witness it.
After about a minute, he was apprehended by a police officer, hauled off the field, and let go.
I went back up to the seats to enjoy the insanity. Evidence of pure joy and fashion.
He's kept all the photos of his moment with the team. As for this time around, he says he can't afford to pay the thousands for a ticket, so he'll be watching Game 6 at home while enjoying the special memory he has from the last time the Jays won the World Series.
It makes me laugh. It was a lot of fun.
John Benavalli-Rao, CTV News, Peterborough, Ontario.
Well, it is holiday versus history, with families choosing between trick-or-treating and the World Series. What some Canadians are doing when we come back. Well, Glenda, the good weather witch, is back with us. And Glenda, tonight, families will be choosing between trick-or-treating
and the first pitch of the World Series.
Watching them win was exhilarating, but also, you know, this is exhilarating for me too, so it's a conflict between the two.
One longtime Jays fan turns his front yard into a yard haunt for Halloween, but this year he's convinced everyone will be back inside their homes for the start of the Jays game.
Now, others say they are setting up TVs outside, big screen TVs. There will also be some watch parties going on around the country that will most likely be a mashup of Blue Jays pride and some very scary costumes.
You can do both.
You can.
You can do both.
Look at you. You're cheering Blue Jays.
I'm doing weather, and then maybe I'll fly on over to the Jays game.
Have a very happy, safe Halloween. We'll see you back here Monday.